welcome to another episode of 100 Ways to Make 100K. I'm your host, Javon.ca, and on this episode, I want to introduce you to a very special real estate agent. Now, he didn't get the name Top Dollar by accident. He consistently sells homes for the top dollar in his area, and in this episode, he's going to break down some of the data that he pays attention to in his business on a day in and day out basis. Now, it's not only the metrics that he's paying attention to for himself, but also for his team. Now, if you want to get to that 100K a month mark, that $1 million a year mark, this is definitely an episode that you're going to want to tune into, especially if you're a real estate agent or a mortgage broker that's looking at growing your business. I really think you're going to get a huge kick out of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to introduce you to Kenneth Top Dollar Toppin. But before we get too far into things, I want to give him an opportunity to introduce himself. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Another day in paradise,
All
right?
right.
And I'm so honored to be spending an afternoon with you. So maybe before we dive into things, you could take a moment to introduce yourself, let the guests know who you are, and a little bit about what you do.
For sure. So Kenneth Toppin, aka Top Dollar Toppin. My wife actually helped me pick that nickname. Doing real estate for the past 13 years. Been licensed from 2010. Started off at Century 21. Now I'm here at Remax Hallmark First Group. We are based in the Durham region. About 80% of my business is in Durham and 20% across the GTA. I do have a real estate team, super proud of them as well, with about 4 agents on the buyer side and then an admin. And together, we just been rocking it out in the Durham region for a while. Top 1% now in the Toronto Real Estate Board. Also launched a software company called Harvest, where we just make tools, sales performance tools for real estate agents to help them scale their business as well. So I've been wearing 2 hats, tech startup on that side, building apps and solutions for realtors, and also building the team at the same time.
So do you remember the first time you made $100,000 in a year?
I was working at Rogers Wireless as a retention manager. And I was making around like $40,000 a year. And I was trying to scale and grow within Rogers Wireless. And I told myself, you know what, if I can quit real estate and even make half, quit Rogers, if I can quit Rogers, and make at least half of what I'm making, I'd be good.
That's it, 25K.
And then I ended up quitting my job at Rogers, jumped full time into real estate. As you're doing transactions in the year and you're going along and you just see yourself creeping. Okay, I'm on deal 3. Okay, maybe you've hit like 35,000. Before you know it, you're not at the end of the year yet, and you're like about 3 deals shy of being able to hit an actual sales target, right? And then ultimately, by my, let's say, 8th deal that year, I realized that I literally just hit the mark from a commission standpoint of being able to generate $100,000.
So when did that goal change? Because originally it was 25K.
Right.
And you must have been so scared to quit.
You know what?
Man.
I never told these guys, actually. There's actually 3 brothers that inspired me. And they're going to watch this probably because they're local realtors. And they don't realize that they inspired me, because one of the first times I went to the office, I saw these 3 brothers and they're just having a conversation about how much deals you can do. And one was like, I did 5 deals this month. Other guy was like, I did 4. Other guy said, I did 2. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. Like, each deal is like, so sizable numbers. And I'm like, you did 2 in a month? Well, you just hit my target for the year. You know what I mean? You did 4, you did 5 in a month. So I was just like, I had to reevaluate what life was at that point in time, because I was still programmed to say, you go to school, you climb the corporate ladder to get to 100K, maybe at like year 8 or year 9 or whatever in the corporate world. So when I saw these guys that looked exactly like me, by the way, like skin tone, male, black guys, they looked like me, and I saw what they were doing. That inspired me immediately to say, okay, I got to change my target, because now I saw that it was possible.
You're working at Rogers, right? Like,
right.
Nobody in that office is talking about real estate.
So from trying to climb the corporate ladder, not finding success, I just needed to have another outlet. So real estate was my outlet to get into entrepreneurship after I realized that I did not want to just go and continue in the corporate space, because I thought I was ready to do certain things, but I was being told by outside factors that, I don't think you're ready yet, or you're not capable yet, or you need more skills here. And I was just like, I realized that you'll never be in full control of your destiny when you are working in a system like that. So I just wanted to make sure I just took control of my entire life and just jumped into real estate. Yeah.
You remember how you got your first deal?
My first deal was actually one of my good friends. She has no idea, but I played it off. I know what I'm doing, obviously. So, but it was my first deal. Yeah, it was one of my friends. She was looking to buy a property in Scarborough, and I represented her and her husband or future partner at the time, and I helped them get their first deal on the buy side. Yeah, I remember I took the person's clock for no reason. So I was like,
You took their what, sorry?
I took the clock. Like, this was random, but that was like a really custom clock built into the actual wall. But that was one of my first deals. Yeah.
So you have the goal of 2 deals, right? And now you're in real estate now. You get your first one. When did the goal change to, trying to make that 100K? I guess it was when you met those guys.
Yeah, I met those guys, and I realized that, well, if people are making like 50K in a month that look like you, that talk like you, capable like you, no difference, grew up in the same area in Scarborough, then why can't that be you? So really and truly visualizing that you're capable of doing something is super important. But yeah, my goals definitely did change the minute I realized that, I saw people that were hitting way higher targets. But I really realized that I was cutting myself short by wanting to make 25 grand in my first year, for sure.
When did you make your first 100 grand in a month?
I did like one deal for like 1.5. I did like 2 buy sides at like 1.5 and sold another home for a mil, right? So by the time I added up the gross commission on 3 deals, it was actually about maybe 3 or 4 deals in that month. So then when I realized that, whoa, I just did a deal every single week, right? So 4 deals in a month. And I realized that the homes were all like over $1 million, right? And I was like, wow, I just banged out like $4 million in commissions in 1 month. I was like, that's $100,000.
At this point, right? It's not your childhood friends that you're putting in offers and taking clients on, right? You're doing multi-million-dollar homes, right? Like, how did you even meet these people? And how did you start getting so many deals? Like a deal a week, dude, that's wild volume, right? Some people never do that in their whole career.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. You realize that I had to learn how to hunt and hustle. Your circle of influence is always as strong as your circle of influence. Your net worth is your net worth, they always say, or your network is your net worth. So at that time, I was younger, grew up in Scarborough. Like I didn't have like a crazy high sphere of influence that was able to own these homes, buy these homes. So I just actually went out to the Durham region and I started to door knock. And I just went and found people that owned houses and advised them that I was the best agent they'll ever find in their life. Yeah, but I knocked on their door, spoke to them, built some strong relationships. And that's how I was able to find these new clients that never knew me.
So knock on my door right now, and let's play. I want to.
Are we doing this right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Knock,
okay,
knock.
So you show up in Durham, and I open my door, and all of a sudden, Kenneth's
So at
there.
that time, yeah. So if we're doing knock, knock, and at that time, even now, I'll say, hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. What are you doing here?
Hey, you know what? I actually just sold your neighbor's home down the street. We listed it last week. Did you see that?
I think I might have seen something about it. And I heard the neighbors talking about it in our little Facebook group.
Oh, there you go. So you know what? We sold about a $250,000 over the asking price. Sold it in a week. It was actually a bidding war, and we had about 10 offers on that property. And I'm just kind of walking in the neighborhood and just seeing if you're also thinking about selling, because we do have some extra buyers right now with realtors who are looking to put an offer in on the homes in the community. I just wanted to know, for the right price, would you take an offer?
How are you starting to build your business off this? Like, I'm guessing you just get customers right away. Like,
there's so much competition in real estate, and how do you really solidify to a seller that you are the best person for the job? And believe you me, sellers want to work with the best agent for their job. Unless it's their friend or their sister, or they have to, or best friend, where you literally have to work with them, or you're going to have a torn relationship. Outside of that, sellers don't care to work with the number 2 person. They just really want to work with who they think will give them the best value for the home. So how do you convince a seller that you're going to be able to do that? And the way that I realized was that, how about I just sell so much homes on your street, in your community, behind you, and you just see my face and my name like over and over again. sold in a week, over asking, sold in a week for top dollar, right? And after they've been able to see that so many times, then they would call me, reach out to me, and ask me if I can represent them. Yeah.
If you were to define like what's the best agent, is it
Yeah.
the best that sells the most volume? Is it the best in an area? Is it
Like the best agent is the one that does the best job of building relationships with their clients, right? So whether you do it with a lot of your friends and your family and they refer you a lot of business, or whether you do it within a community and you're there and you're talking to people and you're building those relationships, then that is the best agent. Because there's areas right now where I can go to in the Durham region in certain streets and communities, and they'll say, oh yeah, I've met you before. Or my real estate team will go and they'll knock on the door and they'll say, yeah, I've spoken to Ken. I know Ken. Like, I actually know the guy. And that's powerful. So, or if you're a real estate agent and you just have a sea of people in your database and they're all just talking about you in such a high regard, and that's why they're referring you. So I think the realtor that does the best job is the one that definitely has the best relationships with their clients. Yeah.
so you mentioned like the value of relationships often, right? And these are relationships that you started from literally a door knock. Now there's so many times everybody goes out and they'll meet people.
Right.
You knock on doors, you meet people. You cold call, you meet people. You run ads and people call you. But so many people have a great first touch, but then their second touch is like nowhere to be found. The follow through, nowhere to be found.
Right.
How do you design something like that?
The running joke in the industry between coaches, brokers, ask anyone, what CRM do you use? And the reality is, the joke is the CRM you don't use, because whether most people don't even use one, and the ones that have it don't use it in its full capacity. You know all the birthdays of all of your clients. Do you know when you sold their home, their year anniversary? Do you have the ability to call and say, hey, happy anniversary, we sold your home a year ago today, right? There's no way you're going to keep track of all of your clients' information. So you have to be extremely organized. And even I'm working on that to this day still, is making sure you're organized, because if you're not going to be able to follow up. On top of that, when you meet a client today or a lead at the door, it's highly unlikely that they say, hey, guess what? I just so happen to be packing my home to sell right now. Fine, no, that's not how it works, right? You meet them like in 2021 and they're moving in 2023 or a year later usually, right? So you have to be able to follow up, check in. You can't just knock on it once and then just think they're going to call you back. You have to have these different data touch points. So it all has to be systemized and put into one platform, which is also why I built out Harvest, right? It's a system, it's a sales performance where you can actually input your data and keep track of it and hone it and have it on your mobile device at all times.
Beautiful, man. Well, I think you're going to be doing a great service for agents.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see, this app grow and touch the hands of more people.
For sure.
So it's available now, right? In the App Store?
Free download on in the App Store for Android and Apple.
Ken, you ever done 100K in a day?
Oh, man.
We got it.
You know what? It's the same. You know what's crazy about that, though? It's the same, because real estate is sales. I ended up selling like 2 homes on the same day and put in 2 offers literally on the same day, right? On 2 different properties. So you sold 2 in the morning, you just banged out, boom, boom. She did 4 in a day, just closed it all out, right? And then it's a super busy day, a lot of paperwork, a lot of negotiating. But again, the home values were up there and they all got accepted. Boom, boom, boom. And I was just like, wow, I can get used to that.
What type of back end, do you think you need to have, and what type of groundwork? Because the interesting part that I've been seeing along so many of these conversations is like, it happens in a day, but it doesn't really happen in a day.
That's a great question. It does not happen in a day. It comes together. It can come together in a day. I sold houses to those families for months and months. So it's not like you knock the door today, you want to sell today, put it on the market and it's gone. No. The legwork is months in advance. But for whatever reason, that magical day, it came together on that day. And I was just like, this is wicked. This is crazy. Yeah.
Amazing, man. What a blessing, bro.
Yeah.
So there's so many different strategies.
Yeah.
How would you advise a new realtor?
Which
one is right for them?
So the first thing you want to do when you're a new realtor is literally just make a list of everyone that you know and give them a call and say, hey, I'm a realtor. It's harder to get the cold people that don't know you at all and have them give you a shot. People that like you, know you, love you, trust you, they'll just give you a shot. So the first thing you want to do is still make that list. And second thing is, yeah, I would definitely go out and door knock. Definitely go have conversations, door knocking on anywhere where a home just sold. When a home sells on the street, the husband and the wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, they're there talking about it. Billy and Jen just sold. Did you know that? Yeah. What did they sell for? Oh, maybe we should sell. The conversation starts, right? And then for sure, farming a community. Only 13% of agents actually farm a community. And it's interesting is because when it comes down to strategies in real estate, it's clear as day that it's a failed model of strategy because 90% are quitting after like year two, right? The stats are abysmal in real estate. So what's happening right now, it's not working. That we know for a fact. And only 13% of agents farm, which is another problem because to have a competitive advantage, especially in this market, any agent at any time, if you just pick a pocket of 1,000 homes, you will have a competitive advantage over, even if there's 80,000, 60,000 realtors. If you just pick a small pocket, become an expert, that is something that I think is a must do, non-negotiable in real estate because most people don't have a strong sphere of influence or a circle of influence to guide them to glory. That's what I realized, right? Out of 90% of the incomes made by 10% of the realtors, 5% of them just have a strong circle of influence. Their aunts, their uncles, and all that is actually a strong circle of influence. The other 5% is have the gift of the gab.
Seems like you're data driven, right? Like your app is all about data.
Right.
So I'm curious what types of data you pay attention to in your own business and
Well,
like with your own team and stuff like that.
Yeah. So right now with my team, I really track conversions, conversion ratios. So for hunting. So when you are out there prospecting, how many contacts do you need to make in a day in order to get X amount of leads, and what's that conversion ratio? And how much leads do you have to get on average to get a booked appointment and a booked appointment to a sale? And, if, for example, my team average was converting at like 3% or 4% when they first started, and now they're at about 30%, 25%, sorry. So I've been able to make them get a lead at the door instead of it only being at like 3 and 4%, they're not like 25% by showing them exactly what I did and how I did it. So they're getting more efficient in being able to hunt. So we just teach them how to first hunt for your food, and then it's booking an appointment. How skilled are you at booking an appointment? That's not a qualitative question, it's a quantitative question, because that could be a conversion rate. What percentage of your leads are you actually getting them to say, come over, let's have a sit down conversation? So we track that conversion. And then of course, at the end now, how much booked appointments do we need to go on in order to get one sale, and what's the conversion on that? But I step in there and my conversion is pretty high. at closing the listing presentation, it's like, who else are you going to use? It's like, the humble you.
Where are you headed, man? What are you looking to do? Where's the future of Kenneth?
It's really bringing tech to real estate. I've been able to do a lot in this business. I love tech. I now have that software company, and I definitely will be bringing out tools in the future, in the near future, that will help realtors and make their job easier. So I see myself 100% going into the space of technology and helping agents really make a career for themselves.
What do you think would have happened to you if you didn't find real estate?
If I didn't find real estate, that's a great question, because I'm actually doing what I know I love. I tell my clients, even the other day, I'm like, I don't feel like I'm working. I was up at 2 a.m. in the morning closing a deal when everyone was at this amazing event in the city, but I was there closing the deal until 2 a.m. in the morning. And I actually told them I'm working, but I don't feel like I'm working. So when you ask me what else would I be doing, I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just grateful and thankful that I found real estate.
If we could add any value to your life, man, how could the community help?
Everyone follow my page, actually. So Top Dollar Toppin, because I do a lot of webinars educating the people. How do you refinance your home? How do you calculate that equation? Do you know how that works? At Top Dollar Toppin, just follow me, and that's how you can support me.
Beauty. Well, Ken, we appreciate you taking the time to, drop some gems on the community, man. Share some wisdom with us. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. All right.
All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of 100 Ways to Make 100K. I hope you enjoyed meeting Kenneth Top Dollar Toppin just as much as I did, and I can't wait to introduce you to our next guest on the very next episode. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. Once again, I'm Javon.ca. Peace.